Feet, what's going on with them? Why are so many of us struggling with foot pain? 1 in 4 Americans have foot pain, and I liken to think it is actually due to our shoes, believe it or not. From a very young age, we put children into feet with a very narrow toe box, and they seem to only get smaller as we age. They also have a very small heel. And it doesn't seem like much, but as we grow, that heel actually impacts the way that we are in relation to gravity, which definitely changes where our pelvis is and where our neck is. So that tiny heel actually changes our posture dramatically. So had we not been put into shoes and we would have been walking barefoot with our feet wrapping around the earth, we would have been using all those little muscles in our feet. And so instead of having dropped arches and foot pain, we would have had much better mobility. So I invite you to start considering, can you walk barefoot more often? Can you allow your feet to use those little muscles? So let's talk about fascia. Fascia runs head to toe, skin to bone, connecting every cell to every cell. So similar to this cool toy, everything is connected to everything. And it's a system of continuous pressure. And it doesn't matter where in the body you have pressure, it's spread out through the whole system, right? So everything impacts everything. And the reason that's important is because when we start looking at treating pain, we want to notice where we're feeling it, but we actually want to look elsewhere for the problem. Most of the time, pain is not coming from where we feel it. So a lot of times pain is mirrored. So say we're feeling it on our backside, we need to look in the front. Or if we're feeling it in our knee, maybe we got to look above or we got to look below. And so for this, we have to really put our mind in a place of being curious. So we're going to feel around and we're going to begin everything with noticing what we feel in our body before we begin, noticing how our body is in relation to gravity. What does it feel like? And then we're going to use a different stretch or a ball to feel what's in, and then maybe go a little bit deeper and spend some time. Now, when we go in and we're spending time, we're really going to take it slow. And this can be a practice all in itself. So this will be an opportunity to quiet the mind, get into the body, turn on your feeling awareness, and notice where are you feeling the sensation? Does it actually connect anywhere else in the body? This could be incredible information because it could be telling you maybe where you might need to go next. It also is an opportunity to notice if there's anything else under the surface. And so you might notice as you get into an area of the body, there could be some underlying emotions that haven't been processed. And this really is an invitation to allow that stuff to come up. Allow the water to get muddied a bit and to feel what's going on, because those unintegrated emotions can really cause a lot of physical pain in the body. So notice, are you feeling grief in there? Is there some rage in there? Is there some shame in there? All of that would be totally normal and totally welcome. And I invite you to give yourself permission to feel into it and notice if you can soften and just be with it. Just give it a seat at the table, right? Just allow it the opportunity to be seen, heard, held, felt without judging, evaluating, criticizing, or wanting it to be different. Today, we're going to be using a couple of props. I have here a yoga tune-up fitness ball. I love their balls for multiple reasons. One, they have a nice firm density to them, yet they're covered with a soft rubbery coating, which allows you to get right up next to the bone without being really painful. The other thing I like is that they're a bit sticky, and so they grip the skin, which causes a shearing to happen, which really does help with that fascial release. If you don't have a ball, you can try using a tennis ball or a racket ball. These balls, however, will not work as well. So It's a great starting place, but I do encourage you to get a really good quality ball. Another ball that is popular that I've tried is the rad balls. You can find them on Amazon. The thing about the rad ball is it is very high density. And so the difference between that ball and this ball is it's going to be much more aggressive, which means it's going to be more painful. And aggressive isn't always better. We tend to have this no pain, no gain approach. And in this practice in particular, that is not the goal. We do want to soften and relax into the holds. We want the body to feel like it can melt and let go. And that will not happen when we're being really aggressive. So I'm going to invite you to put your knobby, studded balls and rollers away, anything that's really hard, your lacrosse balls, and find something that's really yummy that you can melt into. In addition, I'm going to be using a half dome roller. You can also get these on Amazon. They're fairly inexpensive. I love having the right tool for the job, so it was worth the investment for me. If the investment makes sense for you, I invite you to check that out. However, if you don't have this today, you can always use a rolled up towel. So maybe take a towel, take a few rolls of duct tape around the outside, and you can reuse that. That will work. If you don't have something like that, you might try using a book. I've heard people using that as well, but nothing beats a really great tool. And then today, we're also going to be using a chair. We're going to begin here with the half dome, and we're going to place our right foot on the dome with our right heel on the floor. So the goal is to elevate the toes, and this may or may not already create a stretch. Now, after we get our foot on the dome, we're going to go ahead and move our foot that's not on the dome forward. And depending on how flexible you are is going to depend how far that foot will need to go. Now, again, coming back to this no pain, no gain philosophy, in this practice, it's all about softening and melting. It's all about finding ease and giving your body permission to let go, allowing it to soften and melt and let go. The body has what's called a stretch reflex. And when we are wanting to increase our mobility, it's in our best interest not to be pushing into the stretch reflex. What does stretch reflex sound like? It's a reflex, right? And if the body feels like it's going to be overstretched, it's going to tighten up, it's going to hold, it's going to try and protect. So find that place where you have that like hurt so good stretch and just back off a bit from there. And as you back off to that place that just feels yummy, it's a delicious place to be. It feels like you can truly soften and let go. Check in with your feet. Make sure that the foot that's on the dome is facing forward, right? So we want that second and third toe to be facing forward. And all of our stretches, we're going to hold for 3 minutes. 3 is the magic number in all of the things that we will be doing today. Now, you can always spend more time. The more time, the better. These should be nice, long, juicy stretches. This isn't a practice we're going to speed through. However, you can spend 5 minutes, you could spend 10 minutes, you could spend 15 minutes. Just listen to your body and go where you're guided. Let's go ahead and switch legs. Bringing our left foot onto the half dome or rolled up towel, depending on what you're working with. Making sure the first and second toe are facing forward and placing the other foot to the side. Depending on your flexibility level, it might be more forward, it might be right next to it, it might even be in the back. Find where it feels good for you. Remember, you're looking for that hurts so good stretch, and then you're just backing it off. Nice and easy. Something you can soften into. The key word is melt. Like butter left out on the counter over time, how it just kind of softens. Notice where else in your body you might be holding tension. Where else might you be able to soften and let go? You might notice that things really start to soften and you can deepen your stretch. Just kind of taking up the slack per se. Continuing to mind the stretch reflex. It just feels so good. The foot is connected to the hamstring. So of course, any tension in your hamstring is going to refer into your feet. The fascia runs through the musculature of the lower leg, through the Achilles tendon, throughout all the muscles of the feet. Beautiful. And release. Go ahead and grab your tune-up fitness ball or whatever you have, and we'll start on the right foot. You can be near your chair or near the wall, whatever works for you. And we'll start by just being curious and rolling from the toe to the heels. Toes to the heels. And we're just kind of hunting, gathering information. Where is it tight? Where is it hard? Where is it tender? Where might it be numb? Healthy tissue doesn't hurt, and it doesn't have these symptoms. So if you find anything hot, hard, tender, and numb, you know that you want to work that area. So what do you notice in the pad or ball of your foot? What do you notice in the arches? What do you notice up next to your heel? And go ahead and find the place that has the most sensation, and we'll start there, holding for 3 minutes. Again, if you're up for the challenge, you can release the grip on the wall or the chair and allow yourself to use your strength, building up in the lower leg, activating through the core. Good. 2 more minutes here. If you want, you can incorporate a little pin and stretch, so lifting the toes. And softening, relaxing into it. Just 30 more seconds here. Now, depending on the person and depending on your foot, you might have found multiple places here that need your awareness, need your attention. And so I invite you to go ahead and pause this video and spend a little time in each of those places, minimum of 3 minutes, 5's even better. And then you can rejoin us when you're ready. And let's go ahead and switch legs. Again, starting out being curious, we're just going to roll from toes to heel. Doesn't take a lot of pressure. We're just being curious, lengthening the tissue. The old school thought was muscle, bone, nerve. They thought that that's what was really important. But now we know that the fascia is more than just stuffing. It's more than packing material. It works synergistically. So instead of looking at muscles as being superior, we now look at fascia and muscle being specialized bundles of fascia, which is a whole new paradigm of thought. And I'll tell you, the world has not caught up yet, so you're ahead of the game. So, there's a good spot right there. Go ahead and find where you have the most sensation, and we'll spend 3 minutes camping out. Remember, this is not no pain, no gain. If you're using one of the little rad balls Those balls are so hard and can be so aggressive. So please, please, please be mindful, be gentle. We're not trying to punish our body or tear it down. The key word is melt. Two more minutes. Notice if you can soften in your neck or your jaw. Maybe you can soften through the shoulders. If you want to do a little pin and stretch, you can stretch your toes. And relax, allowing it to melt even more. And just a few more breaths here. We'll then go ahead and release. From here, we're going to spread our toes. So lift and spread the toes. And spread the toes. And release. And spread the toes. So after 10 or 12 nice juicy spreads, we're gonna then try gripping the floor and then lifting and spreading. Gripping the floor, lifting and spreading. Grip, spread, grip, spread. So we're just trying to use all of the foot. And when we wear a shoe with a stiff sole, our foot doesn't get to go through all of these movements like it would if we were walking barefoot. And just a couple more here. Beautiful. Oh, aren't your feet happier already? Moving forward, I invite you to start paying attention to what shoes you are wearing. Remember, even the tiniest of heels is going to impact the way that you relate to gravity. It's going to impact the geometry of the system. And by just bringing your body out of alignment this much, your pelvis and your neck both have to compensate. It also brings the weight onto the ball of the foot, and the ball of the foot wasn't really designed to be weight bearing. Actually, there's quite a lot of benefit to having the weight in your heels because it helps build bone density through the pressure of those bones driving up into the pelvis. So I encourage you to find a zero drop heel, a shoe that doesn't have any heel at all, where the toes and the heel are level. You can find them in all different styles, whether you need a dress up or a casual shoe or a workout shoe, a running shoe. There's shoes of all kinds. And I invite you to continue to use your ball and to use the videos and the stretches you learned here today to continue to keep your foot mobile, because as you know, anything in a cast is going to get tight, it's going to get weak, and it's going to be painful. So keep moving and walk barefoot as much as you can. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you again.